Let's move on to the next panel discussion, which is the last one: how to bring auxiliary services in India at par with international standards. I would like to call the moderator of this panel discussion on stage, Mr. Balasubramanian, Senior Director, IMTMA. And I also request our panelists to please join us on stage. Mr. Sanjay Kapoor, Studio 360. He's the owner of Studio 360. I request Mr. Balaram Babu, founder and director, Violet Worldwide. Mr. Sri Charan Atluri, Managing Director and CEO, Hybro Production Services Private Limited. Mr. Sudeep Sarkar, General Manager, India Exposition Mart Limited, IEML. Mr. M.Q. Syed, Managing Director, Exicon Events, Trade Fair Times. Mr. Praveen Suri, Country Head, Overseas Fairs and Special Projects, R.E. Rogers.
How do we bring the auxiliary services of the Indian exhibition industry to the international standards? Many occasions, or I would say most of the occasions, the organizers take away the phase of being a very successful exhibition. The credit goes to him. But behind the scene, there are quite a lot of people who, in terms of service provider, the so-called the auxiliary service provider, put in a lot of effort, put in a lot of some of the best practices, what they have gathered from the industry, to make it successful. And they are the one who do a hell lot of things to make the exhibition brand a success, both in terms of brand as well as the commercial viability. So we have a good mix of panelists out here, right from a venue owner to a special stand contractor to IT solution provider. We have a media with us. Mr. Syed has already been on one of those panels earlier. And then we have one of those freight forwarder, R.E. Rogers, Praveen Suri is here. And then we have Balaram Babu, who is a service provider of a stand contractor. So I'll quickly start, and some people have already been here, but for the benefit of the audience, I would request once again to briefly introduce themselves. Yeah, Balaram is. I would quickly ask them to introduce themselves and what do they do, and some bring out something which probably the audience would like to know about them or the organizers. So that's very important.
Hi, my name is Sanjay. I'm an architect by qualification, and I head Studio 360. We specialize in special design construction.
Hi, this is Balram. I run this company called Violet Worldwide, which is into exhibitions and German tents, and we provide end-to-end solutions to build the setup of temporary infrastructure for any conference and exhibitions, indoors and outdoors.
Hi, my name is Sri Charan Atluri. I'm the Managing Director of Hybro Production Services. So we are into professional audiovisual and event technology services. I happen to be an engineer by background and have picked up specialized qualifications on audiovisuals for event technologies and conventions industry. I happen to be the first CTS certified technology specialist in the India from 2003 onwards.
Good evening, delegates again. This is MQ Syed. In last session, I was representing at media, but this time I'm representing as the Managing Director of Exicon Group. We are a 360 degrees solution company for exhibitions. So more or less, everything is in Architect. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is Praveen Suri. I'm from R.E. Rogers. I'm working in a capacity of country head for special projects.
Hi, good evening once again. I'm Sudeep Sarkar. I'm the General Manager with India Exposition Mart Limited. As I had been on the panel, one of the earlier panel, I had explained to you about the venue. It's a multi-purpose, multi-utility, and one of the most integrated venue in India in terms of conferences, exhibitions, and many other product launches or any other event that you are planning. The venue is both, it's a completely indoor venue with all given facilities as you could find in any international venue. Plus, it has a capacity to expand beyond its capacity by 2 to 3 times. And we have an excellent support system within the organization as well as the local authorities that we have. maybe because of that reason, Greater Noida or the venue that we represent where it is located has been able to project itself as a destination for large-scale events. And we have successfully managed India Handicraft and Gift Fair for over a long period of time. And then Auto Expo, and then one of the larger challenges that are coming in the month of December is BC Expo. Thank you.
All right. So we'll start with the first round of questions, which I would put it across to everybody. Since we're talking about how do we bring Indian exhibition to the international standards, this question is meant for everybody out at the stage here. What is it? Can you say probably bring out two distinct plans that you have it in your own domain or the organizations or your business in terms of bringing out, of course you do quite a lot of things, like, Sudeep heads the Indian Exposition Mart. We know that in the whole structure or the exhibition is made of the international standards. We have a lot of things in place. It's got a very good ecosystem. Similarly, I'm sure that everybody else would also do it in the same area. But what is the thing, what are the two different distinct things as we all emulate some of the international exhibitions, international venues? What are the two distinct things that you would like to bring out in your own domain area, which would probably scale up the Indian exhibitions to the international standard?
You know what, we have been, it's a good thing that we are now talking what we need to do in order to bring ourselves to the international standard. That means we have expanded, we have grown. And being a part of the India Expo Mart and where we have executed large-scale events, the two things that readily come to my mind, and actually these are two challenges that I am also facing simultaneously, so that's how I'm thinking that I should bring it to, in order to bring it to the international level, I should address these 2 points very critically. One of them is minimum safety standards with my environment obligation to the environment. And I should make myself auditable so that I can have that scope to meet those international standards. And the second and the most important is in case of any, since there are large-scale events happening at my venue now, hence the liability of the venue increases manifold. A single incident can put it back from where we started. So we need to have a comprehensive insurance of all the events happening over there, covering most of the angles of any possible mishaps, including cancellation of the events. So these are the two basic that comes to my mind immediately. Of course, there are many other challenges that we need to look on a daily basis and keep improving it in order to meet the international standards. But these are the basic challenges or the new challenges or the unique challenges that I have at my venue as of now.
Hi. Although we're a fairly small and a compact agency focusing on special design, a large part of our product portfolio includes international inbound projects. And to keep all our clients working and happy with what we deliver to them, we would like to remain close to the forefront of the international standards across various things. And the two things which we really want to focus on and are focusing on, one is the adoption of sustainability in our industry. See, internationally, most clients today are working towards green norms and sustainable exhibition participation. I'm a member of a sustainability committee at IFS, which is an international association. So we are working out on, based on this German association of exhibitions called FAMAB, and they have a sustainability label which certifies different agencies. So we are working within IFS to work how to adapt that the German standard of green or sustainable exhibitions across the world, because different standards exist everywhere. And secondly, and most importantly, is to focus on health and safety. We're always running against extremely, extremely tight deadlines. And when we're all running against deadlines, at times there are a few corners which are cut or moved around. So that is something which we are focusing on all our energies. Thanks.
Hi, this is Balram again. We are a company which is purely into exhibitions, tunnel fabrications, supply of German tents, and also handle at times custom booth fabrications. So when it comes to the upgradation of the standards and how we can cope up with the present scenario which is existing and prevailing in the world, what first thing we have been adapting, and we are actually in the process to metamorphose the entire workforce which we actually have, and to orient them to the nomenclature of the international exhibitors or the regular exhibitors. Because, I mean, generally it has been always noted, like for say we call Velcro tape, and then there's some other who call them as shoe tape, and some place they call it as a rough tape. So there are three, four nomenclatures, and that's what when we see, when our workforce is directly interacting with the exhibitors at the booths, there's been acute confusions of nomenclature, even while interactions on mail. So we actually are in the process, and most of our workforce has been well oriented of these terminologies. Like, I mean, when the exhibitor is from Germany, they call this blah, 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 and the exhibitor is from Singapore, they have this nomenclature. So the first and foremost importance we emphasize is to upgrade the workforce who are the direct interaction of the exhibitors at the site, to acquaint them with what is actually happening in the world. And whenever we do visit some international shows, and whenever we do some jobs worldwide also, we actually capture some videos of the installation and the finish, which we bring down, and we always have these brush up sessions with our workforce, so that when somebody is brought something to install, our guy is well armed to help him and just get it fixed. And it has been really appreciated by many of the clients when they just to observe that. So that is how our company has been orienting, and that's what I suggest all my friends also to adapt the same. And then the other point is, going digital. It's quite a basic thing, but in India, not all the stall contractors have this shopping cart for the additional furniture and the on-site services. But we are probably the first company in Hyderabad to have this online e-portal, where our organizer, it's quite usual, which you see with any other exhibitions, the entire furniture, catalog and services are loaded on web, and the entire orders are done. So we further want to take a step ahead forward in that, and even we have tying up with these LED fascias. Generally if you look at the booth fascias, which are the typical fascias, the entire fascia to be LED. In fact, it's like what Sanjay said earlier, it's something which will get into the go green concept. We don't have to print things again, cut things again, a lot of wastage. It creates a lot of wastage, a lot of stress, even for the organizers. I think many of the organizers do agree with me that there's lost so many last-minute fascia name changes, and it's the biggest pain for them, and they are in their inaugural sessions, and they get calls from their exhibitors. Sir, मेरा नाम में PVT limited नहीं लिखा है, PVT नहीं लिखा है, limited नहीं लिखा है, blah blah. So what we try to do is we're trying to bring the LED fascia culture in the entire booth, so that the whole displays and everything.
Balram, that would also escalate the prices, because how do you tackle that? The prices
that's what, sir. That is why, as I said, I was about to come there. That these all things actually also are. That's where when we really want to grow, we also want the organizers to also shell a bit more from their pocket, so that they can enjoy these special privileges, and we can that will help them to upgrade the standards of our industry. We are ready to upgrade, sir. We have so many ideas, but as you said, if I go and propose someone this, not for this show, next show we'll see. And we do understand it's quite challenging for them to sell the space as well. But yes, we have a lot of other ideas which are coming on, and as and when the pockets grow more and more, then we also start upgrading our standards. Thanks.
Sricharan.
From my perspective, from the technology services point of view, the ground reality in India is, yes, we understand that it's still the unorganized services sector. Then the skill development is still the need of the day. So there are plenty of international standards out there. There are associations who, like Infocom is one of the trade associations which has been doing a lot of educational stuff in terms of audiovisual technologies. So we said, let's first get the ground problem sorted, bring that education here, tie up with some of the schools that are already here, the diploma, ITI diploma colleges, and then Sound and Audio Engineering Academy. Hyderabad, there is a government-initiated academy called NITHM, National Institute of Tourism and Hospitality. So we've started tying up with them to first promote the basics of technology, audio-visual technology that get into event production services. So once that is sorted, the rest of our stuff are any day imported equipment, and then adapting to the industry standards won't be a challenge. So manpower and skill development still continues to be our priority and concern at this point of time. And hopefully, like our Chief Minister has just mentioned, and initiatives like this are going to help us a long way.
I had a similar idea what Srichari had. But to begin with, we must have the awareness. First of all, we need to understand what is there which is going to harm all of us as an industry. What is there which is harming already the industry. And then keeping that in view, we should start getting the industry aware of the losses that we are making out of it. As all of us know that the Indian exhibition sector has grown drastically and in a very haphazard manner. So we didn't have time to look into the basics of it. And that's the reason now these issues are coming up on this kind of forum to address. However, this would have been addressed 5 years ago, in my views. So to me, the awareness and the skill development. Skill development is the most important thing because unless you train your people, they're not going to deliver. And this is a very bad thing into minds of all of the service providers, and somehow the organizers are also responsible for it, that we don't ask any sort of skill development program from the service providers. So there should be an agenda of the exhibition organizers that should be some sort of certification as a mandatory for all the service providers who are going to be engaged by these organizers and the venues. So yes, awareness and the skill development. There are two main things that I would like to get into.
I would also request the panelists to really harp upon what are you doing in your domain area, your core area.
Well,
to do it on something on an international standard.
As I said, we have been missing on these two things. I mean, most of us have just started looking into it. Let it be Violet Event or Hybro or myself. But in last 6 months, we have done a couple of training sessions with our existing workforce to let them at least know the basics as to how to deal with some problems if it arrives to you suddenly, or how to deal with some sort of emergencies when there's an emergencies during the construction period or during the dismantling period, because we have seen a lot of mishaps in the past 10 to 12 years, especially in the outdoor construction that is temporary. So we have been able to at least let them understand the importance of the skill development and the basics of it. That's what I can say we have achieved. As far as the awareness is concerned, that we have been doing through Trade Fair Times since many years now. We have reported a lot of incidents in past which have occurred during the dismantling or the mantling of an exhibition, especially the large graph outdoor shows. So awareness we are doing through TFT, and the skill development we have just started. So I think we'll be able to achieve something within the next 6 to 7 months, since this kind of discussion have started coming on this forum like IEIA. So I'm sure the mindset of the exhibition organizers will also somehow change now, and they will start to adopt these kind of things. Thank you.
Praveen?
As far as on-site handling services goes, we are in a day that we don't have, we have ample of latest equipments, and the manpower what we have is all skilled ones nowadays. So we should emphasize on two things. That is, one is on the health and safety, and the second thing is the environment management. So I think these are the two basic things. If we put them in place, we can adopt the international standards.
I think Praveen, and probably what we spoke, and probably that is one thing also we could always look at from the site handling side. What we spoke about, the delivery mechanism, and that's one thing which is missing, because in the Indian exhibition industry we still, I'm sure there are some gaps. The entire system has to work together. It's not just the responsibility of the freight forwarder to do it, but again, with the organizer also has to come in. Of course, we can leave the venue out of this, because it's between the organizer and the site handling agency in terms of delivery. Because many of the occasions I mentioned to you, like what happens is people are trying to look at things at the venue at the 11th hour. You as representing the industry, probably this is one thing which we have seen in the international exhibitions. Things happen well in advance. You know, things are not done. People are not given the information at the site, how much load of equipment they're bringing, how many volumes of equipment they're bringing. Things are, you know, if things are communicated well before time, you know, you could be prepared, which will affect the entire exhibition in terms of turning out to be a, you know, that's one thing.
True. That's true. I'm saying.
That's, putting it broadly, what I would say is basically the delivery mechanism. The delivery mechanism has to be, you know, absolutely seamless, so that, you know, any gaps or, you know, any kind of interruptions which would affect the quality of the exhibitions, you know, again can be looked.
Can I add one thing here? I mean, we at IML we have started adopting the execution of the event through a package system. I mean, I'm telling out though, my competitors are here. But it's a good thing that we have been doing, and I would like to share it with you, is that there is an agreement signed with the organizer. It has several points, all of it into the system, and then we keep saying whether we are meeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what is the percentage of completion that we have, and whether we have received XYZ, and whether the keys can be opened, and then, you know, so on and so forth. At the time of exiting also, there are certain procedures that we follow. You also have procedures, I know. One of the best company, you also have the procedures. But what happens is that at the site, those, despite having those nice procedures over there, there are always confusions I have seen. Correct me if I'm wrong. There are 3, 4 of yours. There are not 3, 4 venues. There are not 3, 4 more service providers, but 3, 4 of yours. Now, who brings what in, what time? There is, correct me if I'm wrong, I have always seen a lot of confusion happening over there. That I have not seen in international events. There it is precision. If you are there, your machine comes and you are there. You have got no bargaining powers either. If you are changing in the last minute, you pay good price. Why not have such kind of a mechanism with the venues over there also? And so that it's visible to us that here is the screen, here, you know, A, B, C, D are the strands, D is yet to come in, and where is it? I mean, what's the procedure? So can we, you know, kill that confusion over there? So that, you know, what happens is that if you don't kill the confusion, till the time your machine has not come, it's not your responsibility altogether, but till the time that machine hasn't come there, other stand construction activities are not going on. And the organizer is coming and requesting, Sudeep ji, aaj to hame raat bhar kaam karna padega. Then I go back to my administration asking him, look, Mr. Administrator, you have to give me the manpower for the housekeeping and security throughout the night. By the time the engineering people has gone. So, you know, one creates other confusion. That's where maybe in venue services, the augmentation part of it, the last mile connectivity, if I can call it, there we are lacking a little bit. Can that be addressed by you?
See, basically you answered your own question, in fact. You know, we need to have a good networking amongst ourselves. Because organizers, they are in touch with the exhibitors. And we also are in touch with the exhibitors, but the exhibitors, they do not give us exact information. I'm talking about the local exhibitors. The international exhibitors, okay, we know what they're bringing in and how to handle it. But I'm talking on the local exhibitors. So we need to, I'm saying the organizers need to put a step forward to get the information from the exhibitors or force him to give us the information so that we can keep our equipments in place. And then, when the exhibitors are at site, like we are handling exhibitions on different sites where we have a system where the organizer, he doesn't walk through and just roam around and ask for where are the on-site handling agents. We have a given space, we have allocated space, they come, they approach us, then we follow the procedures which have been set by the venue owners. Accordingly, we handle it. And we know which exhibitor is coming at what time. So it is basically what, I would say, from my point of view, it's basically the responsibility of the organizer to emphasize on, I would say, giving the details in advance before the exhibits arrive.
We agree, Praveen. It's not that we're trying to find out any kind of, in isolations for you as an organization. We're talking about it entirely on a holistic level or for the entire fraternity which is doing it. What we are expecting is probably the best practices or something which is done internationally if we can broaden down to the table. And this has to be worked together on an association level as a community level. If that can be brought in, if all the stakeholders can have a consensus and agreement as to, yes, this is what is required for the industry, the team or the industry can work towards it and see how do we make a way forward to that. That's what, we are not saying that it's one man's problem. It's the entire community's problem. If that can be brought onto the table and have a consensus and we can see what it can bring to the industry, we can work as together as a
It's actually more like a chain. I would like to say that it's like it's the end customer or the exhibitor who finalizes in the last minute, until which the organizer is not even organizer is not sure whether it's coming till the last minute. So it's like from the exhibitor who finalizes in the last minute to the organizer, who actually have to order in the last minute, and it is the last minute order from the organizer to the contractor, to the freight forwarder, or to the stunt.
I'm sure everybody would agree that the shipment which is coming late, it affects everybody. It
Yeah.
affects the stand contractor, it affects the housekeeping, it affects the person who's going to put the carpet, it affects the entire exhibition. So you play a very important role here. And I don't say that it's it has to work
It's
as a team.
chain.
Yeah. It's a chain reaction.
From the exhibitor to the organizer to the contractor and so on. Yes.
Okay, I'm sure we had some couple of things coming from each of those critical service provider, and I'm sure we will see that how do we document it and probably how do we work on an association level, and we can see each one working together and see how do we execute that and bring it to the industry level and see that it helps the industry. My next point is again relating to environment friendly, safety, sustainable. It's some of the buzzword which in the exhibition industry. Everybody is, whoever does it in terms of this particular, looks into this angle, he stands out in the community as looking at something who looks for the environment friendliness. So I would like, again, from venue, for stand contract, there are many things. Like a stand contract, I would say that, what is the thing then in terms of environment friendliness or safety, in terms of when you do a structure, what are the things that you do it? What do you do in the venue, and what do you do as a stand contract in terms of material? That we have in terms of using of panels. Other than the panels, is there anything environment friendly material that you're going to use? Flex, which is not environment friendly. What is the thing that you have ideas that you are going to have? Probably you could hear from the panelist.
Bala, see what we know about the Indian exhibition industry, that we are in not a mature industry or not a mature market. We are a growing market. Since we are a growing market, as Praveen and as Balram has already mentioned, there are a lot of last minute things or last minute add-ons. And not only that, there are a lot of cost pressures. In any growing economy, in any growing market, the end customer, whatever, irrespective of what all we want to do, it is the paying customer, which is the end user, who actually defines what is required. He or she is the driver of what the practice needs to be. So we need also to educate the end user, so as to speak, as to what the practices need to be. And it also needs to be top-driven. For example, you mentioned flex. Now, in a lot of developed economies, they have banned literally the use of flex in the exhibition arena because of its not being eco-friendly. But flex was a standard medium of cheap graphics till I think at least about 2 years ago. Internationally today, you're seeing only fabric. Fabric is something which is lightweight, which is quick installation. It does a lot of things for you, ticks a lot of the right boxes, but it is not applicable across the scenario. We have a client who gave us a stand. He said, okay, this is the design that we want, and we want it to be done totally in fabric. And this was a Skype call that we were doing, and I had an expression on my face. I said, why? I said, okay, this is the first time probably you're coming to India. You can't do a complete stand in fabric. It is eco-friendly, it is sustainable, it is whatever. You can't do it in India. So these are things that we need to look at.
When it comes to adopt eco-friendly practices, probably while we talk about the exhibition stall panels, we are the company who use the entire exhibition panels made out of urea waste. So that is actually one of the edge we have been in practice since inception. Our panels are made out of the agriculture waste. They are not the typical plywood panels. Though the finish and outlook is more, they get actually damaged very fast, but Still, we use the same, and that is the practice which is already there with us. And then when we talk about the eco-friendly, which I've already submitted earlier, we are planning to bring in some new, the LED fascias or the LED displays, which will be integrated in many of the places where the branding is concerned, thereby decreasing the kind of manpower and other things. And yes, I mean, definitely once the costs get into the place. And yes, even the ply and the other materials which we reuse, we always dispose it to a recyclable ply stores where it's actually remade to another plywood sheets, and we actually buy back the same ply. That's how we have been using that.
I heard both the comments, but really that doesn't leave the venue anywhere nearer in any safe hands. You know, you can still do some or the other thing to satisfy the client, and yes, of course, you are also going through the environmental obligation, that's fine. But if you look at the venue, those are which are permanent venues, they need at least 16 to 17 procedures to follow in order to maintain the proper, I mean, in order to fulfill the environmental obligations of being in existence and being a physical venue. You know, we have 16 megawatt power facility of our own. It is fully integrated. For that, there is a huge cost element that I have to incur in order to maintain them, B check, C check, which are mandatory for me. If I am keeping diesel, that is 300,000 kiloliters I am keeping in my venue, I have to follow the entire safety procedure 24 into 7 into 365, if not maybe even more than that, manning that place with human and with electronic surveillance. And of course the fire, that's never said. Whether the event happens or not, the water disposable, the rainwater, catchment needs to be there. So what I'm trying to tell you is that as much as I augment my services at the venue, as much is the responsibility on me for answering to the call of the environment and fulfill all the environmental obligations. And and then sustain the cost also, so that the cost doesn't get directly converted to the organizer. Otherwise, then again, I will become uncompetitive. So what I mean to say is that you have to maintain a very critical balance about the environmental obligations. As of now, since my colleague just said we are a growing concern, if we have to maintain everything, then you cannot sustain the cost. The cost is way far too high than what we are thinking as of now, and it's growing every day. So let's have a limited minimum criteria to be met for these international standards or the safety standards, so that as a venue we can sustain the cost as of now, keeping in mind that we are a growing concern. The entire industry is a growing concern as of now.
From a technology point of view, if I may just put in my points, solutions, like some of these were already touched upon from social media and digital marketing point of view. Probably we can slowly get away from all the print materials that are being done. There are conference apps that could be developed where today everybody, mobile computing is the future, and every delegate is going to carry a smartphone. So might as well give him the facility of an application that he can download off the net, and in turn, probably something like this, where the entire information of the conference is here. They know who the key contacts are. You want to call them, then you want to plan and schedule your agenda. That is all that primarily I would see the agenda material that is being printed for. Instead, we are always carrying our smartphones, and we can look at the agenda of which session we would want to attend, put it on our calendar, look at who the speakers are, decide which session to attend. So these are some of the technology solutions which can certainly engage, and there are also features like poll and Q&A that can be integrated. Apart from the environment point of view, I'm just getting into the engagement point of view, which is also a concern for the current exhibitions and conferences, where people can create more engagement through involvement of digital content and strategy into the way conferences are being or exhibitions are being planned.
Before Syed, I know you also come in because you can take up this point also. I wanted to put this point to Sanjay and Balram and then to Syed, since you also do end-to-end solutions and exhibitions. Many occasions, like as I have to wear a hat of IMTM for some time as an organizer, we come across a problem on this particular thing of doing stand constructions, wherein you use woodworking. You know, how is that? And many of the time, what happens is the exhibitor says, this is recommended by my designer. He has recommended me, this kind of design, and which uses most of the material which is wood. So that's why I am going for it. When we ask the stand contractor, the exhibitor wants it. So basically it goes like the ball goes like a ping pong from here to here. I don't know who is going to be actually responsible for that. So we need to bring in some kind of culture or maybe a kind of a system. How do we avoid? How do we avoid? One is predominantly using wood. Of course, wood has to be there, but the kind of wood which is used in exhibitions, which I see in our exhibition center, it creates maybe a load of sawdust at the end of the exhibitions, which is again very dangerous. And then a bit of an welding, which in the premises. How do you, as a service provider, and also people from the audience, how do we can, again, this is something which needs to be, I don't think it will stop overnight, but again, what are the steps that we can all take, and so that, this can be reduced to an extent?
Bala, my only thing is that at the end of the day, when again going with this back to my earlier argument, the onus lies on the guy who's paying. You give them, I'm speaking from a design point of view. I'm an architect, so I do design. I head the design division in my company. You give a simple design, you give a system-based design, or you give a standard, let's say, upgrade design, the client doesn't even want to look at it. Ye kya? I want to spend money. I don't want to look like the guy in the shell scheme. Okay, I don't have the money to spend like Tata Motors or BMW in Auto Expo, but this is not what I want. As Sudeep has just said that he's got various, let's say, issues and obligations. We who earn from what the client pays us, you can't turn around and tell him, no, dude, this is what is good for you. This is what is good for the environment. This is what is good for the whatever. He says, thank you very much. There are 20 other guys standing in line. Thanks a lot.
But I believe these days there are many of the technologies which is also available. Of course, I'm sure there's a cost for that also. The design, what you do it in wood, also can come from other system also. We have seen it. I don't know. I'm saying I'm putting a tag to that. There is also a cost to that. But I don't know how.
Bala, absolutely fine. Just to illustrate my point. See, technology is always there. It is how we, the users, are ready to adapt to it. A very small question. All of us participants got a mail giving us the details of the Uber app for hiring cabs. I'd like to know how many of us have downloaded that app. See, how many of us have actually used it? Look at the numbers. The technology is there. Are we using it? If we who want to become, or want to make others listen to us or become more international, become eco-friendly, become whatever, if we are not setting an example, how do we expect anybody else to do it?
Okay. We'll ponder over it.
Yes, I second Sanjay's opinion. It is more like the client who's been always asking us the high-end designs, but still at the end there are new technologies, as you said. It's more like the Ganpati, sir, for example. Everyone is aware that what kind of pollution the Ganpati, the POP statues cause. We can see here we have got the clay Ganesha, but the POP Ganeshas sale even, and their sale is still substantially high. At the end of the day, even you go and buy a Ganesh idol. Sometimes even you say, मेरा एक छोटा मूर्ति से क्या होने वाला है? मैं तो घर के लिए छोटा है मेरा मूर्ति so. Let me buy the POP one. I don't want to go for the clay one. So it's like that. It's a process. It's a real long process, and it will take times and times. And now we started raising it, then slowly we'll start addressing it, and then slowly we start getting into it. But it will take time, sir.
Sayed, you want to add something?
I actually don't agree with either Sanjay or my friend here, Balram.
You can agree to disagree.
Yeah, for the simple reason that as he just mentioned about the fabric printing, somebody asked for the fabric printing for his booth in India. It's very well available. I mean, it's available in the market. Anybody can go and get it printed. As far as the second thing is concerned, putting everything on the end user or your client is not a good idea. It's all about how you want to sell yourself. If you want to sell your design to a client with the lot of woodwork, you can sell it your way. If you really want to sell it the way the technology is being adopted internationally and they are putting it across to them, you can do it. That's all into your hands. Secondly, I would like to answer the question of Mr. Sudeep Sarkar for the venue. There's always a big mess when there's a big exhibition at any venue, and his being one of the largest venue in India, he faces that problem quite often. I propose, like in any other international and the developed countries, there are temporary warehouses out of the your exhibition halls, which are given on rental basis to the exhibition contractors, sometime even to the exhibition organizers for a temporary basis of maybe 10 to 15 days, depending upon the number of days required to set up the exhibition. Why can't we create some temporary infrastructure outside the hall and give it to the exhibition organizers and the contractors on the cost basis that, look, boss, you have to work here for next 10 days, prepare all your stuff, and when you come to the exhibition hall, make sure that you don't come with the dust. You come with the panels and you just have to do it in the exhibition area. This can avoid a lot of things, a lot of mess, because see, we have to keep in mind that if you're talking about even 150 exhibitors in an exhibition of 5,000 square meter, we are dealing with 150 exhibitors, contractors, the vehicles, the manpower, a lot of material, temporary stuff coming in and going out. And you have 2 entries or maximum 3 exits. How can we bring it all on 2 days' time? So we have to be prepared outside the exhibition hall. We have to bring what is really necessary as a end fixtures and do it in the exhibition and finish it off. That's all.
Can I answer you?
Yeah, sure.
100, 200 exhibitors, I'm fine. I'll ask them to please do it outside. What will I do when there are 5,000 exhibitors?
You should
I'm
increase the
having
area.
I'm having one show, which is the most coveted show, and for the purpose India Expo Center was created, is India International Handicraft Gift Fair. There are 3,500 exhibitors are there. If they do not get into the hall on time and start construction of their booth on time, I mean even 4 days are less for them. Just for your information.
I agree with you. See, I am not saying that this is applicable for all the exhibitions. How many exhibitions are there, such as EPCH for that matter, in India?
Even if the entire 6 halls are taken, or 4 halls even are taken, the ground floor area is gone for the material movement. And as you know, the cost of the place is, and what is the utility of the space. So you have to be economical in that way.
That's what. So
And
I
most of the stands, if they are custom built, they do not agree to this idea that they will assemble it outside and then they will take that and put it into the stand, because what will happen in that case is that even supposing that is the entrance, and I have sold those, the organizer has sold this place as a custom built stand for 2 more, and I am asking the stand over here to come, please build it outside and then bring it in. Then he can't come through the gate, that being a dimension of the stall, because they are also custom built. So there are logistical issues actually to be looked at.
exactly. So somehow the venues are also responsible for this problem.
Yeah. Praveen, you want to add something on this?
Syed, I mean, I just want to correct. Sanjay was telling not about fabric printing in India. He was saying the entire stall to be built in fabric.
That's also a possibility.
No,
I
there's a
mean,
possibility, but there are some technical.
Of course, there are some suggestions which is cannot be looked on case-to-case basis.
I love you. I'd love you have shows which I believe you said you do totally on your own. I'd love you if you can put up a stand totally in fabric, in Indian conditions, and let's see the state of that on the first day.
That's a challenge, Syed.
I-
And we'll do
I-
it offline.
that's a challenge. I would not like to take it here on this forum, but certainly outside this forum, yes.
And I mean, coming
I'll
about,
attempt that at least, if
and
not.
talking about the special designs, I mean, see, it's like, again, I'll go to the Ganesha logic. I mean, me as a shop, I don't want to sell the POP Ganesha. I'll have the clay Ganesha, but there's a shop next to me which will sell the POP Ganesha. So I again don't want to be lost in the crowd. So at the
Balaram,
end of the discussion-
I'm sure
Yeah.
each one has got their own challenges in terms of, executing or probably something doing which is something to be supposed to be done. But I'm sure we'll also have to see it ourselves, how do we overcome those, how do we bridge those gaps? How do we try to convince people? And here I would, ask Syed, as a media, how do you think, probably you would be, I'm sure you had similar questions in the earlier forum also. But again, you as a media will definitely play an important role because awareness is something which needs to be done, knowledge needs to be sent. So how do you think, you could help us doing this?
Well, we have to first of all speak to each stakeholder of the exhibition, right from an organizer to a venue, to a service provider, to even the end user, and of course the laborers, even the laborers, because they are the one who are finally constructing things for us. We have to get into details of the problems and then devise a solution and then highlight this through our media to the stakeholder and ask them to come forward and address this on priority. So far, there has been no discussion what we are discussing now. So this is at least the first step, which we are on to. And then we have to go on to next step and then finally on the execution plan. So let's start from somewhere. You as a venue, I'm sure the organizers are sitting there if somebody would like to speak something and give some suggestions.
We'll give them a chance to. Do
Yes, and then the service providers, and then finally the person who's executing it. So all of us have to come to a conclusion to come forward and address this issue. First of all, we have started from here. Let's go to the next step, and then we highlight these things into the publication. Let people understand what are the problems and how we can come out of this problem and get real solutions. And then I don't think this is not possible. This is very much possible. This can be done.
Okay. Srishana, you would like to come in here. How do you think probably a digital service provider or IT solution provider, you would be able to help us in taking this up?
Sir, all of you are experienced professionals and veterans in this field. I'm sure you can talk about standards and best practices and whatnot. But the way I would look at it is all of you are here for business and the bottom line is to make revenue. And if I see it correctly, the bigger issue that is coming to the exhibitions industry is the footfalls or the attendees coming over to see. And yes, all of us know that the average age of India is very young. And you have to attract young people coming to your exhibitions and see what is it that they are going to have anything new. So fine, you do all the digital marketing, social media, you create that buzz and get them here. But year on year, if it is going to be a conventional trade fair with the same stalls and the same material, which probably he feels that sitting back at home and he can look at it over his tablet or internet, he was not very excited. So once they get to the venue, the way I would look at it is, probably I can show you on why does auto shows world over pull the maximum crowd. So what is it that they create so differently, that most other conventional exhibitions fail to?
If you can explain to the benefit of the audience what this film does.
So this is a technology where the cars which are on display, there is something called projection mapping, 3D projection mapping that is happening on the car. And if you see, so the car manufacturer now has the opportunity to showcase different colors of the car. He is trying to keep it in different backgrounds. So this is not an experience your delegate can ever have sitting back at home or even going to the car showroom. He has to come to a trade show where he can necessarily is where he will get this kind of the buzz and excitement and energy. Are all the other trade fairs of any of the industries really doing this? I don't know.
I also am on the convention industry side for quite some time of my experience so far, though whatever minimalistic. But you know why the foreign chains have come to India long time back, the hotel chains, etc. and all, because they felt that there is a demand and there was a demand, and that demand was basically coming from the foreign. And when the foreigners were coming, they need to be given those standardized services. That's how, Intercontinental or Sheraton, or I'm just coming to a point. Give me a minute. So when the demand increases, then we all gather, please come together, and then we have some kind of an understanding between us. Today, Mr. Nagpal is here. He's again from the convention industry. You know why you have called him? Because the demand is increasing, and the call for the responsibility and the obligation is increasing simultaneously. That's how today we have gone to him. Tomorrow we need to go to the event managers who get these large kind of events, and together all the stakeholders need to come and then finalize what kind of standardization they need to have so that an international service platform can be created. So your question or your analysis that something is rubbish, I'm with you on that.
No, don't take
But
me wrong.
but the good thing is that the demand has increased. That's how we are asking this question to ourselves today. And we have extended one hand to one of the partners of the industry. We need to extend another 2-3 hands by all my colleagues to the respective other service providers of the industry. You need to drag them. If you don't drag them, they will keep recommending something to the clients. And thereby you will have some obligations to fulfill which you will not be able to do it. So today is the call.
No.
You know,
What I was talking about, we just saw a digital projection on the Auto Expo. We've all seen at the last Auto Expo, there were these companies which came in, for instance, whether it was BMW or whatever it is. Their show stands were finished well in advance, covered up and things like that. There were stands which were being done by our own people for some of the companies, some of them were not even finished. Why? I mean, some of them were finalized much in advance. If you're saying that these companies took the decision at the last moment, I tend to agree with you because it does happen that way. It does. There's no two ways about it. Whereas a company like, say, a BMW and things like that, they have these prefabricated kits which travel all over the place. One is aware of that. But we can head towards that side, no? We can also educate our clients to move in that direction. This has to be done collectively.
Sure, sir. What we'll do is we'll take it offline. We are short of time. We're already closing the time, and we're already near 7 o'clock. I don't know, quickly, if you want to
Mr. Naidu, I just want to point out one thing. I think you have a lot of international experience. You've seen a lot of international things. If you want to get truly to international standards, everybody says compare apples with apples. Is our infrastructure, is our facility, is our client truly international? When you talk of rubbish that, why can't things be prefabricated? Please try and tell me which stand or which city can handle prefabricated equipment coming in on a truck. We do not have side loading facilities in any of our trucks. Why is that? Because if you have it, the truck would start full from the workshop. By the time it gets to the exhibition ground, there's nothing left. So let us not get into these details. We are talking in terms of holistic things.
Yep.
There are issues. You have to try. One of the things which I tell all my foreign clients, expect the unexpected.
I think we lived here and probably we'll do it offline.
Yeah,
We'll
offline.
take it offline.
I don't agree with you.
No,
incidentally.
any other
I
questions
think
from
I
the
have a
side
little more
or?
experience than you do.
Okay.
So I'm not denying that at all.
Anyway, thanks. Thanks for the audience and thanks. One question. One question there.
Good evening, gentlemen. The discussion is actually about providing environment-friendly services for the events we handle. In our domain of exhibition logistics freight forwarding services, I have only one suggestion. I just want to add what is already being discussed by the panelists there. I don't have any question. We can, in case we decide, we can operate gas-operated forklifts on the shows we handle on site. Although there are limitations with gas-driven forklifts, the workability and feasibility is not favorable for logistics companies, but we have gas-operated forklifts available in India now, rather than using diesel-driven vehicles. We have German gas manufacturer already having an office in their distributor in Bangalore called Linde. We can always at least use gas-operated vehicles for smaller machinery, smaller machines, not for bigger machinery, because we don't have bigger material handling equipment available in India. This is the only suggestion to the panel.
Okay, thank you. The point taken, probably, we will definitely to points. Of course, there have been definitely a few key takeaways from these discussions, which we have probably, we already have it, something like safety, insurance, and something which is creativity, what Sri Charan came in, some of the points what Sudeep brought in terms of delivery, and what Syed also mentioned. Of course, it needs to be contemplated, and maybe it's debatable also in terms of warehouse. But certainly we can look up some of those points. And it's been a good session. Thank you very much. Thank you, panelists, for bringing out some of the good essence of the exhibition industry. And thank you very much. Definitely require a round of applause for the panelists.